other because a lot of people, but frankly, it should be the case that people will come and will see that I tweeted it, and they'll come in on their own accord, and I don't need to invite them specifically. Um, I think we need to talk about. Oh, it's gonna happen. What, you and I? Yeah, it will. Yeah. I'm on X here. It's streaming, so I'm talking to the live chat. So we're gonna talk about the new rules. Okay. Like one, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling because you're drunk and alone. Hey, two, don't let me. You have to kick him out again. Three, you'll leave him dead. You know you gotta wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you know what it is. So basically, what I'm talking about. When we see crimes happening, we call them out. We write lawsuits. If we can't find a lawyer, we learn how to do it ourselves. And we do it immediately. And that means if we have pending issues, we do it. We just sue. We sue rightfully, and rightfully so. Well, now, so I'm talking about everyone. So when you see like obstruction of justice taking place in a courthouse, and you see it coordinated by a bunch of people, like they're not filing your documents, you sue them for obstruction of justice. And you have to learn the laws and the jurisdiction, but nobody is going to get away with crimes, period. Nobody. Like basically nobody. Meaning like crimes. Like if you can put it into law or find a law that's been broken, then you need to file a lawsuit. And that's a rule. No, what we're talking about is fucked up shit. We're talking about potentially human trafficking. Likely human trafficking. Go to sacenter.org. Look at that website. Just take a look at it. And tell me if you see anything weird about it. So the new age of humanity is here. That means that we're not going to let Britney Spears be enslaved by the state anymore. We're not going to gaslight our fucking friends and family into thinking that they have imaginary illnesses, like, right? We're not going to tell them that we're going to respect one another's opinions and we're going to be nice to one another. And if we're not, then we don't need to talk. But this won't mean absolving anyone of criminal activity. That includes Elon Musk for fraud, includes Barry Weiss for fraud, Matt Taibbi for fraud. I can tell you why Barry Weiss and Matt Taibbi are likely liable for fraud, because they are journalists, right? So one of the biggest stories of 2023 was the data scraping and the AI, and the way that they're using all of our information. I told that to Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss 2 years ago, and neither of them have said a word to me since. So they're journalists. They basically represent themselves as people that care about the public good. Now, the problem with it is that they ignored something that I knew to be true with evidence. And they gaslit me. And we're not going to gaslight each other anymore. So when someone says something, whatever you think first, stop for a moment, get past the trigger to say, no, you didn't, right? And realize that they may be telling you the truth. And then you must investigate it. You must listen more. And then, depending on what it is, we support one another. We support one another if another person is in harm's way and they tell us. We don't just ignore it. We say, I will write you an affidavit saying that I think that you're telling the truth. I will help you figure out how to file a lawsuit. I will advocate for you to lawyers. I will advocate for you in court. and we stay true and through to that, to a code amongst one another. And that means that all these freaks, like Bill Clinton, I guess, is an Epstein guy. I mean, dude, if I was president and I went to a Epstein Island and I didn't do anything about it, I'm sorry, you would want to throw me in jail. Because that's misprision on a level I don't even know how to explain. Don't worry. Don't worry about losing track or keeping track. Just know when the right time is there. When you see it, say it and do it. Do it. Like that's the new rule, is that you don't wait another week, right? You don't make an appointment. You go down to the courthouse, file a lawsuit, take the other person, help them if you are capable of intellectual work, like writing and stuff. Just do it. Figure out how. Do the research with the person. Do not leave them alone until they feel validated and comfortable in some regard. Now, we're all going to have to get used to the idea that a lot of shit that has happened is really criminal and bad. But it is what it is. It's been going on, and I think a lot of us have seen a lot of willful neglect and reckless fraud in a lot of people, like in a lot of surprising people. You know, big corporate boards and etc. But it doesn't matter what they wear. It matters what is in their heart and what crimes have they committed. Even if they have a good heart and they committed major crimes, then they have to suffer the justice for it. Sometimes they suffer it, sometimes they are remedied by it. You can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And also, we don't say that shit anymore. We don't say things like, I can't do it. We say, I can't do it now maybe, but I will be able to do it. I can figure it out. I am smart enough. I am smart enough to do whatever it is I want to do. And that's a fact that will go without saying. That there will be no more life on earth where people tell you you can't, because that is a bad cycle. We don't say we can't. Even if we can't right now, if we want it, if we don't want it, then fine. If there are things you want to do, but for some reason you can't at the moment, and you think that it's a lifelong thing, you are going to see that there's possibilities for you. You're going to think outside the box if you have to, and you're gonna do what you need to do, and you're gonna be held accountable to do so. It won't really be so much an option, is that no one will have time for anyone that dallies or delays or waits in this self-pity. No one will care. If you don't do something about it, then we can't help you. And there's no excuses anyone. Mental illnesses are not real. And I know that that's a bit of a thing. But the fact is that if you're depressed, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason. And yeah, if you don't feel the need to do anything legal, then don't. If you do, and the underlying principle of it would help other people, you might need to rethink whether or not you need to do legal stuff. I know it's scary, but frankly, the truth is the strongest thing of all. Also, there is a big, massive worldwide cover-up of a lot of crimes by a lot of people. Some of them are bad, some of them are just weak, and I don't know. And we're going to see things unfold that will be odd, but just know that this is all good. Everything is good that is happening. It's good. And know that the people that have done crimes, even if you don't have the capacity right now to take care of them, are going to be dealt with. in the coming year, probably. Like people that you would be shocked. Justin Timberlake and his wife, they played video of homeless people at their wedding. I want to know why. I want to know why, Justin. Right? I want to know why. What the hell? Who does that? Why'd you do that, Jessica Biel? Like, look, is Jessica Biel as guilty as Justin? I don't fucking know. Do I want to know why they did that? Yeah. Do they really think it was funny, or are they titillated by seeing people suffer? You know, we're gonna ask. We're gonna ask. Obviously, Michael Thompson loved to see suffering. That's his favorite thing. You know, so that it's odd. It's frankly odd behavior, and it seems kind of stupid. But it's so stupid that sometimes it goes under the radar, right? And that's not happening this year. No more shadow bans for Twitter. Twitter will become a fucking likely a public utility, as it should be. The internet will be not moderated. It will be scaled in a manner that helps us utilize it, not have it utilize us. Well, our data will no longer be free for the taking because they don't have a right to it anyway, at all. It's a complete fraud. People that depending on their position in tech, they're committing misprision. There's not going to be a lot of mercy for the people that are saying, I thought it was all whatever. Like, no, you didn't. You're a liar. And also, it doesn't matter. You committed the crime, period. If you knew about this fucking gang stalking and you didn't do anything, that's a felony. That's a felony. It could be a lot of people that have done that. And it's going to start happening very soon. Elon Musk is a fraud. It's not up for debate. Frankly, it's not really up for debate at this point. He has proven that he does not have any true capacity himself, and that he's self-obsessed narcissist who is so dumb that he ended up being compelled to pay $44 billion he didn't have to buy Twitter. Now, if he didn't, it was a bailout. He was bailed out, guys. He was bailed out. Who bailed him out? That's the good question that you want to know, because otherwise he would have been maybe just out on the hook personally for $44 billion. What privileges were given to the people that bailed him out? That's the question we need to know. I'll find out in my house. Yeah, exactly. You can. Exactly. And on X, well, we're going to frankly have to wait until Mr. Musk is removed from the position to mess with things on X. Or it'll be called Twitter again, I hope. And he'll be arrested, likely. Yeah, I mean, look, think about what he was doing. Think about it. He was manipulating Twitter, which is a public good. It is, in every sense of the word. It's a public forum. Now, he owns it. But he puts himself forward like he's got justice on the side, and he's for reviewing this, and he lets Trump back on and Alex, right? Okay, fine. But he in actuality, he attacks his critics and he sabotages them. He steals their accounts or shadow bans. This is a fact, provable. And that is a manipulation of the public trust that is egregious. And frankly, you can't do that. You can't do that. I know that he thinks he can, but he can't. And he, do not trust lawyers that are hurling anything. Lawyers, read what they write. It might be scary, but you'll see that they rarely have any substance. It's almost scary. But frankly, we're not going to get caught up in any of the bullshit. The Bar Association is a fraudulent endeavor. I would like to see in the Constitution where it says you need a bar license to practice law. I think that's a First Amendment deprivation, by the way. and a big fraud and scheme that they've run because they all help each other. And the lawyers that I've encountered that are on bar are sick in the head, and they don't care about justice at all. They care about settlements and figures and numbers, and they don't care about justice. And this is going to be worldwide. That this is going to not, this is a worldwide thing that's going to take place. And it will happen. In fact, it will happen soon enough. And I will be helping everybody. If you need help, you can come to me and ask me for help, and I will help you. I will give you the help that you need. Provided that I am able, I will. And that's a promise. And I hope that other people will be that way as well. Hopefully some real lawyers will decide that that's a good way to be too. And they'll start doing pro bono work, like maybe a little bit extra. Just for all the fucking money that they stole from people. Maybe. There's many ways to pay your dues, right? Like you can mediate lawsuits. Remember that. You can get settlements, and you don't have to always go through court. 98% of civil cases don't go to jury trial, but certain jury trials need to take place, and rulings need to happen. And we're not gonna I want everyone to remember, what you know, and never forget when somebody shows you that they are a liar and that they're willing to continue lying and hurt you. Your mercy you should not give, you don't need to give them mercy. You're not responsible for them anymore. God is. I'm not either. The courts are. Leave it up to God. Basically, is basically what I mean. But I mean the court system, because that's the system that we have. Leave it up to the courts. Scrutinize the courts, because a lot of them are also liable for lots of damages and guilty of crimes. And just be constantly an awareness that this is a reality, that we live in a world of a bunch of narcissistic criminals, and they are gaslighting us into untenable positions, and we're not going to allow that any longer. I'm not. And frankly, I think a lot of you aren't really, I think many people are going to find themselves in agreement with what I'm saying. But you'll also be held accountable if you didn't help somebody who needed the help and you just sat there and didn't do anything. Now, that's not necessarily a crime always, but don't expect much from the people that didn't help you. So if somebody came to you for help and you didn't help them, don't expect jack shit in return for your non-help. If you get into it, it's not my responsibility. And sorry, I don't have time for you. I'm not letting you suck my time up anymore. You couldn't be bothered, and now I won't be bothered. Also, Britney Spears is going to get full justice. I believe Gavin Newsom is looking at jail time because he was presiding over the state while she was unlawfully held against her will and sexually trafficked. I mean, that is what happened. She said so. And we're going to listen to her, and we're not going to look at her. Look, we're not going to look at her Instagram and then go, look, she's crazy. No, that doesn't matter. Her Instagram is not relevant. What happened to her is relevant, not her Instagram. Got it? She can do whatever she fucking wants on Instagram, provided she's not hurting anybody. Also, just don't casually demean yourself either. You don't casually just say, I suck. No, you don't. They suck. Anybody who's willing to tell you that you suck sucks. That's it. And I've done this since I was a little kid, but frankly, I think forgot for a while that this is the truth. And also, now I'm like fired up and I'm coming for all the criminals. Honestly, because I have grounds in a lot of these lawsuits. And I'm not a lawyer. But I do have grounds, meaning I can be a pro se litigant. And I won't file a lawsuit unless I'm sure that the summary of events display what would be considered a crime. If it doesn't, I will not file it or help anyone file it, or advise, or even suggest. But I'm not a lawyer, and I don't represent myself as a lawyer. I do know how to use the law. I believe that I know how to use it effectively. I only believe that. I have to have faith that that's true. We'll find out. But still, the rest goes, right? Like Michael Thompson for QTC. Like, we're not gonna forget about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna get some scrutiny that he deserves, right? It's not it's not something that you're gonna just go no, we're going to talk about it at length. Michael Thompson is a psychopath, a violent psychopath that's been run amok on YouTube, and he needs to be put in prison, most likely. I don't care what, that's the truth. Now, how do I get other people to start saying that too? Because it's true, right? How do I get other people? And look, he might come in and have a narcissistic meltdown at any minute. It frankly doesn't faze me. I don't care. Yes, because of me, because of my lawsuit. That's why his channels are now down, which indicates that YouTube was committing fraud willfully. Because if they're down now, well, what did he do differently recently? Nothing. He's been doing the same shit for years. Ian Bolton as well. These people speak their names, put it in tweets, write out to your congressman. Fuck that. Put it out there everywhere on social media. Everywhere. Tell people by word. Tell everyone about Michael Christopher Thompson and Gregory Holmes, who run a cyber stalking operation out of their house using their computers and store people's content without permission and use it in campaigns of defamation and cyber stalking. And he also does cyber stalking on Twitter, on live chats, and YouTube. Michael, put it right. Tell everyone, right? Don't just sit there and fucking watch anymore. Seriously, that's a bit of a sin, in a way. Is just to sit there and watch Michael Thompson operate, and without being taken to task. Seriously, do you know how many people this man has hurt? Do you know how many people he's tortured? No, you don't. Do you know if he killed anybody? No. Do you know if his activities led to the death of anybody? No, but there's a strong suggestion that may have happened with a man named Vitali. I don't know, but there's a strong connection there. A very compelling case to be made. In fact, I would bet that he had something to do with it. Because I know his activities and I know his pattern of behavior, and I know that the person that he accuses of it does not engage in this behavior. So it's absurd, frankly. And this, it's absurd. He probably did lead, but he did. I think he did. I think he probably did. I'm alleging that he probably did. If he can prove otherwise, be my guess, but he hasn't so far. QTC, stop saying you don't know. You do know. It is what it is. It's what you watch, what you've seen. You know what I mean? Every time you say, I don't, you're discounting what is the truth and therefore letting it happen more. You need to understand that, yeah, you know that he's abusing people on YouTube, for sure. That he was, at least. Still is, probably. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You just don't, look, you can't be afraid of this. Honestly, there's nothing to be afraid of. He went after you, I believe. right? Yeah, you do. You do know. He went after you. Didn't he talk a bunch of shit about you, even though you didn't do anything to him? Didn't he also, he tried to convince me, by the way, that you worked for him. That's what he told me in one of the live chats. So you know that he goes on defamation sprees, don't you? You're aware of that? Yeah? No? No, I mean, you're making yourself confused. Because I'm just saying, you know that Michael Thompson goes on sprees of defamation if somebody says something he doesn't like, or if they do anything to indicate that he might be doing something wrong. And that he, QTC, you have to man up a bit. Like, really, like, it's what I'm saying is very simple. It's very simple. And the more that you say, like, I don't get it, the harder it is to explain to you. For me, energetically. And so the onus is going to be a bit on you to say, yes, I've seen Michael Thompson go on defamation sprees several times. He did it towards me. And that's it. Think about it. You're gonna have to think about it, because I can't hold everyone's hand when there's a massive criminal that's done so much crime. I mean, what more do you need to know? You don't know the details? Well, you know that he was saying shit about you. Say that. That's a detail. Think about what exactly, is it true or is it not true that you heard Michael Thompson was talking shit about you? Like, on his thing. And has said things in here about you. Is it true or not true? I'm talking to someone in the live chat, just for the recorded space. Okay, that's true. Forget about everything else. Just say that. Just tell everybody that. Because I think, look, I'll show you. I'll show you evidence that Michael Thompson's a violent psychopath. He gets mad if you say anything that is off script for him. You know what I mean? If you suggest that he's done anything wrong, he will go after you and target you. So what I'm about to show people on live stream on YouTube, Danny, you can go to the YouTube if you can, because I'm showing some visuals. This is Michael Thompson's book. Okay, it's called Piggy. You can see this is the cover. Here's the back. All right. In the inside thing, it says the new novel from Tyler D. In the back, it says the author Tyler D. is the author of the novels The Negatives, Cherry Bomb, and the short story collection Strange Love, under the name Michael C. Thompson. He hosts the Omni Eris show and the Psychic Vampires podcast on YouTube, and has been published in various collections and magazines, including the Big Book of Bizarro, Queerfish V1+2, Icarus, the magazine of gay speculative fiction, Collective Fallout, and many more. Follow him. Twitter, @Tyler the Fox. That Twitter account I had taken down, and it was. Insta, I believe that's true. Insta, Tyler underscore Dershowitz. YouTube, Omni dash Eris. So this is Michael Thompson that we know from YouTube. This book is about forcing his family to live in cult-like servitude to his violent impulses. Billionaire Abraham Arbor places himself at the center of their world, forcing his dark desires and brutal urges upon them, and purposefully exiling them from society on a compound-like manner void of outside communication, in an attempt to shape a new and worthy heir to his twisted bloodline. For an act of defiance, Abraham murders his firstborn and the heir to his fortune. John, the next would-be, fears for the safety of his family, and he prays that he can strength it will take to survive as he attempts to execute his homicidal, psychopathic father. This book is 200 pages. It's 70% or more violent torture porn. Like, hideous. There's an image in this book that is very lewd and obscene. And I'm going to show it. Because, frankly, this needs to be seen. In every page almost, he's basically having violent fantasies. And he's like writing about it. It is a book. I understand that, but I want to give everything context that it deserves. And the book is about a guy who doesn't believe in God, and he thinks that he uses that whole dynamic of religion to abuse people, basically, and say this is God, or like something like that. I don't really fucking want to read it again. It's fucking. I mean, frankly, if he wasn't a psychopath, he might have been a good writer. But I mean, it's really just an unending fucking pain and torture that he inflicts upon the reader. And he has a picture of a. Okay, so this is a very, very violent picture, by the way, that I'm going to show. It is very violent, but frankly, this is what Mr. Thompson has published. Okay? I don't know where this picture comes from. I don't know what it really is or what it isn't. But this is in his book. It's supposed to be a woman who's had her lips and eyes sewn shut. And she is forced to stay alive like that on like machinery and suffer. So, like, QTC, you've gotta like make a leap here and stop praising him. It's not no. It is not edgelord shit. It's violent psychopathic shit. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference between those two things? That's the difference. I'm telling you, as somebody who's read enough books, this is the work of a violent psychopath, and Mr. Thompson's behavior reinforces that. I know. I mean, you're on a look. You said he's funny sometimes. You know, like, okay. You have to understand he's a dangerous, violent psychopath who's targeting people and going after them, and nobody is doing anything. So, if you know about it, speak up about it. Tell people. Report him to the authorities. Report him to the FBI. Report him to the fucking, whatever it is. Whatever, everywhere. Report him everywhere. Because he's a violent psychopath. Frankly, it's the truth. And I believe that the police did a disservice in not arresting him for it. Don't you look? I'm not assessing the value of any of this content. except for the criminal aspects of it. And the criminal aspects of it stand unto themselves, meaning the other stuff is, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like it's like a non-starter. It doesn't mean it's moot. It doesn't matter. The criminal things matter, big time, because he's hurting people. Frankly, you should get it, QTC. Just take the. I mean, frankly, why do you think I'm stressed out trying to convince you? Because it's so violent what he's doing, and I can't like explain it to you to the point where you like. It's frankly it's sad, you know. But I think some of the work to be done in this year is iterating how serious certain things are and how not serious we take them sometimes. You ruined my life for years. Yeah, but the fact is, even though he's not on YouTube, he still committed massive crimes, massive crimes, massive crimes, massive crimes. And because nobody says anything, by the way, he get like, even one of my good friends wouldn't give me an affidavit. The other one couldn't really write it. But the one that could wouldn't even do it. Maybe he can't write either. I don't know. Frankly, though, it's time for some affidavits to come in about Mr. Thompson. And I would ask anyone that's not, I guess, a Thompson freak to write an affidavit for me, get it judicially authorized at the courthouse, and send it over to me. And it doesn't need to be anything in particular, just whatever you saw about his behavior. It's frankly unnerving and obsessive, and frankly, it's like he needs to be extricated from the whole equation, because he's a dangerous freak. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I wish him well, but I also don't have any mercy, really, and to the point where I'm gonna like not litigate and prosecute him as much as I possibly can. And that includes, you know, telling other people, like, you know, you either get on board and give me that affidavit or don't talk to me again. Seriously, it's not, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And I want to say to the people that haven't given it to me, I know it's hard. Do it. I think about what I've been through, and then shut the fuck up and do it. Like, seriously, like, stop. You need to give me an affidavit because you saw what happened, and I'm not worried about what I did. You can give me an affidavit that if you think that I'm the wrong one, go ahead and give it to me. I'll file it. But if you know the truth, I beseech you, I implore you to get me an affidavit as soon as possible. That is court authorized, meaning you take it to the court. I think you can do it before the clerk. Like, as soon as possible, and send it to me. Period. And don't call me or text me or anything until that's done. Because that's justice. Like, immediately, guys. I've had enough begging for it. And frankly, I love you, some of you. If I have to beg you anymore for what this, I can't continue to give you any of my time. It's beneath you. And I mean, there is a new age of humanity on the horizon, I believe. I do. And I also believe that we already kind of are there, and that we kind of won spiritual war. Yeah, QTC. Well, then, you know what? Honestly, what do you know? You know, like you know, look, you know, if I have to tell you this much and you still say that, I mean, you're being, there's a way, I honestly don't know what to tell you. You're ignoring my cries is what's happening. Is you're ignoring them in lieu of your self-doubt or something like that. And the thing is that's gotten us into a lot of trouble as a species, and it's time to stop it. Honestly, it's like you're a grown up. Put up or shut up. And it's serious. It's not. It's like, honestly, you want me to be nice to you right now? Well, what about when I was being harassed for years? Who fucking stood up for me? No one. So don't sit there and say, I can't read it from here, by the way. Don't sit there and say, I don't know. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Look at the chat right now. All the ones that are not QTC. Honestly, yes, you do. Don't tell me that shit anymore. I don't understand how much I have to explain it. I'm not gonna put up with it though. Like, you're basically talking to a victim, and you're just like, yeah, you are. Stop being so lost. Honestly, I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna respond to you anymore until you get it. So you're not. So I mean, I don't know how to say anything I've said more clear. Michael Thompson has committed. He's right now harassing me. Right there. That's likely him. He's been doing it for years. If you've seen any of this, I would like an affidavit. Because I believe he's a violent criminal. I don't care if you believe it or not. Did you see him harassing me? Yes or no? If you did, I want an affidavit. If you didn't, whatever then. Then just say I didn't see it. But don't say I'm so lost. You know you're not. That's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? It's very straightforward. There's nothing to even think about. It's simple. And these conversations of like trying to explain simple concepts are not going to happen anymore with me. If especially, I have patience and tolerance and love, but there seems to be a little bit of a deficit of that for me. And I frankly, I don't want to argue about it anymore. Yeah, so I want an affidavit. Thank you. QTC. I actually pretty much know that that's what you believe. I just need some support from citizens who have seen it and can go to court and say, I declare under penalty of perjury that I saw this happen, and describe whatever you saw in regards to Michael Thompson and me. And then you have to go to a courthouse. It's a little bit of a schlep. It's a little bit of an ordeal. But the alternative is letting someone cry out in pain and not doing anything. And so if you don't do anything for somebody who's crying out to you and begging you, who will you do it for? I'm serious that he has made my life untenable. Like, I can't work because of him. I can't do anything in any field. Because of him, I'm dismissed very easily by people. I've been defamed and harassed so much that it's almost impossible to explain. I've been left out on my own. Honestly, some of you are really fucking assholes because I've been against YouTube, and you guys know that he does it on YouTube. And honestly, you've left me alone to fight YouTube for months now. All of you, pretty much. You've watched and you've maybe thought it was entertaining. Well, it wasn't. It was painful. It was it has been it's better now, I'm stronger now, but I have new rules, and I don't want to hear any more. We can meander on other topics. This one is a non-negotiable one. Yes, you can, QTC. Yes, you can, and I just told you what it was you could do. So if you want to deny that, you do know. I just told you exactly what it was. You said you've seen it. You said you believe it, even if you just believe it. I've seen that much. You said, I've seen that much. That is required to be put into an affidavit for filing in the district court. Period. And if you don't do it, QTC, you're not like helping a victim of a serious crime. And I love you. I do. I have a great appreciation for you. I think that you're very, very promising young person, and that this is a learning experience, and that you will learn and become stronger because you helped somebody who needed it. And me, yeah, well, you know what? I don't understand what you mean. Your boundaries are that you allow people to victimize others and don't say anything. Okay, then fine, don't do it. But that's on you. It is, and I know that it's a burden, but it is a burden. The truth can be burdensome, but frankly, don't speak to me like that after I've been victimized for months and years. You're going to say that to me, that you have boundaries? Who I've been at the target of this freak for years. And all I'm asking is for someone to say, I saw what happened, and sign that they're telling the truth. And no one does it. No one does it. I don't really have any patience anymore. Literally, don't try to take my time up if you're that low. And you don't have to be depraved like Michael to be that low. You can be a decent person and still just lack courage. And that's dangerous. That's why he thrives. Because you think that that's some boundary you're allowed to put up. Really, it's not. I'm going to subpoena you anyway. So if I were you, I would just you'll be subpoenaed. You will be. I guarantee that. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, look, do you want me to get you an Uber? I'll buy an Uber to take you to the courthouse and back. But I can't tell you what to say. You got to say what you saw. So the no excuses, none. Figure it out how to do it, or don't. But don't expect anything from me. Even frankly, if you don't understand that, you're gonna have a hard time with 2024. I think, because you're not gonna know what the fuck to do. You're not gonna know what's going on, because a lot of these creeps are being uncovered. A lot of them are. They're a big ring of creeps that are violating the law constantly, and because of you, QTC, as one, because you don't do anything about it. You know it, you see it, but you're not willing to actually do any action civilly that helps to stop it. Do you think that's healthy? No, that's not. It's unhealthy behavior. It's sad. It's sad and unacceptable to me personally, and I have my boundaries too. That crosses it. But there's really no excuse. I'm sorry to myself that I even have to say it this many times. I'm sorry to Todd. I hope that he is able to deal with that. I will give myself love and compassion, and so much so that I won't tolerate it anymore. Like, you're not my friend if you don't fucking do it. Don't you know? And there's no excuse. Don't yeah. It's just like, yeah. Well, you know what? Tell me that you are a weak citizen and that you don't do anything to help people in danger. That's what you tell me. That's what you are telling me. That's what you are telling me. That's what you're doing, actually. And that's the society that you have. Frankly, I don't want to live in that kind of society. Honestly, it's depraved. It really is. And I know you didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Well, oh, I'm not asking you what you think, though. I'm not asking you what you think. I'm saying I was victimized and targeted. You saw it. You said you did. Now give me an affidavit. So what you're saying now doesn't mean shit to me. And that's the last word I'm saying on it. I'll put instructions for how to file an affidavit, how to give an affidavit. It must be notarized, signed in the presence of witnesses, and the affidavit must swear. So you just have to say like what the truth is, and then you need to follow some instruction. And I love you both, but fuck you both for me wait this long for it. I mean, my life has been in danger because of this fucking shit. And you guys just are like, you don't care. It's really gross. And I'm frankly willing to tell you that. I will, it's true. I'm not gonna take away a wrench. You know what? You know what, QTC? Maybe you are part of the little fucking crew. Maybe you are. And I'll find out if you are. So that won't be a problem. But frankly, I don't care about your little, like, I don't know what to do because I just told you. And you just basically discounted me as a person. And I don't care, it's like, stop arguing it. And Tammy, do it. Brandon, do it. Or don't. And don't talk to me again. It's so fucking cruel. It's so cruel of you guys. Even the nice ones, it's like cruel. Do the affidavit, and if you don't, I don't have any respect for you. That's it. That's it. And I'm not going to continue to be friends with people that aren't doing something about it. Okay? I'm not gonna be nice or like be like, oh no, you're gonna take up my time. And what are you doing for me? Nothing. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen anymore. And yeah. And that's we all do. I'm sick of covering up for the rest of you. Like, Brandon, fucking do it. I don't care about any of your cases. You literally will let me just like, you really are gonna like leave me hanging. Please. Okay. Okay, what's up, man? How you doing? Brandon. He's a friend of mine. And we have David for finding school. And I think that's what we want. Yeah.
so long with the start of my career. So nobody will ever be hired maybe God's the solution, but every last word that phrase that's I would go off because it was and I put on the pretty depth of the law. And I'm on the brain. And I'll tell you about it. But I'm not aware, I'm not representing. But before, people are buying it, right? It's not that people are buying it. Or they don't get it. So the what they're talking about the scary movies, people that last week thought that they were like rich upstate with food, and then next week they're gonna be like they're gonna be like they're in because it's a real fact. There is a trafficking that goes all first thing.
Is online.
Yes, that yes, it's all so we do it, you know, stand up right now and do something like this. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. And people go off. It people and how like why should I respect her when that's not what I'm say something? I mean, frankly, it's just I know it's true. What's happening. And I know it externally that it's going to be for that. I just see you on the clock directly, yeah, for $1 million, yeah. This is shadow man and I found that we're competitive. And he basically doesn't get raw to the public by sort of saying that he was for no censorship, but yet the shadow man by definition or no and so I was going to say, so I would also say, I figured it out pretty quick, and I read Wall Street. And I was faithful, and a lot of people bring that. Someone reported the space, and it sounded like a bunch of jarbled mess. Everyone was talking about it because they were apparently like people with like not able to speak at times, but they were other people, right? So it was because I'm like all of it, like I'm telling you, if you know I know, he fired 75%. So, and also becomes his own personal, like, self-aggrandizing platform. And it's very obvious. We'll look it up. I mean, and frankly, I think the loss where everything started from. No. I'm running. I'm betting that I'm going to win. Yeah. That's very good. I know it's really great from the something that I frankly, I look at the candidate and it's just obvious that I'm better than them. They're more ahead of time. They're
And these people are like, they every fucking day they bring you online. Every day. Can I have 25? Can I have, what does that mean? Can I have $25 after shift? Huh? Mr. Senator? Can I have fucking $25? No. Right? Yeah, also. Why do you do this? Why can't you just wait? What do you do? Probably will. I don't, I know better than like set much money, by the way. Never do that. Because if you do on treatment later, then you can I'm very hard on that. I'm very easy for that. It's very hard to slower path. I don't know. What you have to do to get back. So, and then you just want to move forward. But at this point, I should theoretically be able to use X, which needs to be more clear again. This is disgusting, right? But, theoretically, right? And I have a partner and a support and food and love, the computer and piano. And that's all I ever need. And I feel a lot. I don't know what happened. Very long. Like, I work it's not seeming to be translated from my which will be just you that right workshop. No, no. The writer's workshop is a group of people that get together and they write, like, so this poem is novel, right? They write, so we start, they get 5 pages, the first 5 pages, and then I go through it and help them all the way keep up and writing, and then taking that, and the process takes about a month long. When you put up, and then put it, no result, but there's a process. They become better writers, they become better writers, you can play on people anyway. But I would say that the Red Writer Workshop Act, what you put in all sectors of the economy, including the cryptocurrency, regulate anything that you know, I don't think workshop. I did for important to have fun for their life service. There's something good inside of it, right? Not just like everything life. Why are they there? The people that are being software. Okay, well, let's forget it here. Is that an acceptable way in the law? Let's just take that law there. Okay, let's take the law. Is that an acceptable way? People,
I wouldn't shop if my sister coordinated with my going somewhere at all. I mean, I wouldn't shop. If you want to, if it's legal, I would feel that on me. If it's legal, I don't know if that is legal, but if it is, definitely. I would have the biggest concern, but I'm not interested in making money like at all. I don't need it. But I would say that I'm an underdog that is going to win for sure. Yeah. Not all, 3 years. 3 years. We're going to stick to that. Yeah, I like your yeah.